time, it heals all wounds. No, it doesn't. We're going to go ahead and have a conversation about what time actually does and what you need to do if you want to heal that wound right after the intro. And welcome back to another episode of the Daily Donna with me, your host, Dr. Donna Oriowo, sex and relationship therapist in the Washington, D.C. metro area, author of Drink Water and Mind Your Business, a Black woman's guide to unlearning the BS and healing self-esteem. Let me tell you about some BS that we need to unlearn. Time heals all wounds. No, it doesn't. Time ain't never been known to heal not a wound, not a nothing. Not as far as I can see. Not as far as the eye can see, and I have 4. This idea that time heals wounds is the biggest misnomer that I have ever heard. And I swear, sometimes I just be wondering, why? Who said that? Why do we think that? And how can we stop? So time heals all wounds I understand the purpose of it, and I want to make sure that we are in the same space with our understanding. So the idea here around time heals all wounds is to suggest that pain and grief, particularly emotional pain and grief, that these things are things that will heal with time and over time. And I would say that yes, in some ways you do get some distance. And with distance, you can also get perspective, particularly a changed perspective because you're continuing to live life. And in your continuing to live life, you're still learning and growing and changing. That learning, growing, changing gives you an opportunity to take a look back at what was, with the knowledge of what you have right now, to be able to say, okay, I can see why this thing did or did not work. I can see why this thing did or did not affect me in this way. I can see why this person may have been happy, sad, angry, upset, however it is that they may have felt about whatever it is that happened in the past. That's what time can do. Time can offer perspective. What it cannot do is offer healing. Because the same time that you're talking about, right? Like if you cut a gash in your leg and it was deep, almost to the bone, with time, you could say that it could heal. And for some people, that's true. You know what happens with other people? With time, they die. That's what happens. What happens is that thing gets infected, that thing gets gangrene, that you get necrotizing fasciitis. Look, I done spent too much time at Grey's Anatomy University not to use some of the stuff that I know, right? So what I'm saying is that time passes. It is what you apply that will determine whether or not time heals or hurts, whether or not it makes you better and gives you strength, or whether or not it compromises you to the point where you can't go on in a good, safe, sane, and healthy way. Time passes, but it does not heal. What you need instead, what you need to go ahead and apply is something that will offer some healing. So that gash that I was talking about, if you apply, let's say, some water to clean it out, to remove the debris, you went ahead and you added some alcohol or some sort of disinfectant. If you went ahead and applied some stitches, internal and external stitches, add some Neosporin and a Band-Aid, and some pressure, whatever else is a pressure dressing, I think they call it. Let me go ahead and put that medical degree. Once you do all of those things, chances are that wound will heal. That over time, with continued care, with attention, making sure that you are keeping it clean, keeping it free of disgust and debris that could offer infection, then with time, it will heal. That is true. However, you leave that wound open and festering, in time, you could have maggots. In time, you could make baby flies. I don't know. In time, you could lose your foot. Come on now. So the same thing is true also with emotional wounds and hurts. It's true also with grief. At some point, you need to apply something. And sometimes the something that we need to apply is number one, actually recognizing that a wound has occurred, that we've been hurt, that it's okay for you to name that. Too many of us want to pretend that nonchalant. Too many of us want to say that we're unbothered. Baby, you are bothered. It's okay to say that. Because when we say that we're unbothered, number one, we've already called attention to the fact that we are. But also, in that calling of attention to the fact that we are also naming in some ways that we are choosing not to engage with the fact that we are indeed bothered. Be chalant, be bothered. In that bothering, in that chalantness, that is where you have a great opportunity to figure out what you need to apply to the emotional wound or grief that you are currently experiencing. Sometimes that means that we need to fully experience it, not stop ourselves and hold ourselves back because we think that our tears are a weakness. We think that our sadness is a weakness. It's not. It's a part of your strength. It's okay for you to cry, to yell, to gnash teeth, to be angry, to let the emotion take on a full-bodied approach. And if you need help, I got a video on emotional constipation to help get you loosey-goosey. Sometimes that's the first thing that we need, just space to feel our feels. That, for many of us, that flushing of the wound, that washing it off, that for some of us is the disinfectant. It is the thing that we are applying so that we can in time feel healed. But do not underestimate the power of having your people on your side, at your side, having your back and in your face. Call your friends. Tap them in. Tell them that you are tapped out. You're tired. You don't know what else to do next. That you are needing something. Even if you can't name what the thing is, let your friends still be there with you to help you carry the burden. Or in time, you will find that your back is bowed and your knees can't take no more pressure. Allow your friends to help you carry the load so that in time it can do what? Heal. But if you are thinking that you're doing nothing, you're ignoring the problem, that your being unbothered and nonchalant will heal that wound in time, you are incorrect. What will happen is that you will get used to that wound. That wound will be there. And as long as no one hits it or something adjacent, you'll feel fine. But the second someone does, you won't. I'm thinking about those moments where like you got a headache, right? But you found the perfect position to keep your head in. You found the perfect way to put the lights and the sounds so that it doesn't further aggravate the headache. It doesn't feel like it's progressing. You feel okay if you don't move. But the second someone slams a book, a door, someone stomps up the stairs, someone calls your name, it feels like it just pounds behind your eyes, like it's saying, like it wants all of your attention. That's what happens, right? It's easy unless somebody bumps you, unless something happens that feels too close to that thing that already gave you grief, that already hurt your feelings, that already caused you emotional distress and harm. This is why you have to address the actual thing and not just pretend that this wound doesn't exist. It is in knowing that it exists and doing your part that you will find that healing. So, in the comments, go ahead and tell me the thing that it is that you are trying to heal from, that you've been trying to heal from by ignoring it, and what you're going to be doing a little bit different. I'll tell you right now that I was feeling, and I have been feeling like on the verge of like burnout, right? Like I'm tired, I'm snippy, I'm snappy, I'm not as well. I've never been all that nice in the first place. I've been kind, but even that is finding its way on the wayside. And what I did was I spent weeks, maybe even months, trying to figure it out on my own. What do I need to do? What do I need to change in order to change my life, right? To make things feel better, to get to that place of healing, to be okay again. And the thing that I actually needed to apply was some daggone audacity and a heaping pile of friendship. I called a friend. I let her know what I was experiencing. She told me what she was doing about a similar problem that she'd experienced, which gave me something new to contemplate, gave me something new to consider, so that I could make a change. I let that thing fall by the wayside because I was just like, yeah, I ain't doing all that. And then it got worse. Like I felt horrible one day because something brushed up against that unhealed spot. So I called a different friend, and she put me on notice that she noticed and that she wanted me to do something different. And she told me the thing that I was going to do. She said, you finna take a sabbatical. And I was just like, who finna? Okay, I could take a sabbatical. I was like, I could do 1 month. She was like, 6 weeks. Dang, 6 weeks. But that is the power of friends. They help you see things maybe a little bit differently than you do. And they have a different view of you. That doesn't mean that they know you better than you know yourself, because nobody knows you better than you know yourself. Not even your mama. I said what I said. But in them offering this solution that felt far out of reach, as well as ways to get there, things that I should consider for myself, it felt more like a possibility. It is in that space where I knew that I am allowed to be bothered, that I was allowed to be chalant, that I was allowed to say that I am not okay, and that I can do something different. But if I was going to live in this space of time healing this wound, that's not what would have happened. What time would have done, with time and continuing with the same foolishness, all that would have led to is my burnout. When you're at the beginnings of something and you feel like something is amiss, that is a beautiful time to go ahead and address it. If you wait too long, now you need a larger intervention. That's what I'm saying. So let's let go of this idea that time heals all wounds, because time don't do nothing but pass. So instead, tell me what you will apply with time to get to the healing that you're talking about. Go ahead and tell me in the comments below, friend, because I am the inquiring mind that wants to know. You are the bee's knees. I am Dr. Donna, and that's it for today on this episode of the Daily Donna, where we have our conversations with a therapeutic edge. I'm going to see you win tomorrow, because we do this bad boy daily. I'll see you then, y'all. Bye.